special guest, Mateo Gonzalez. Brother, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, man. How you
Good, good. So everybody, he is my guest today. Me and Mateo go, man, 4 years back now,
About,
maybe five.
man, five.
We go back. I'm gonna kind of give it to him. I want to dive straight into this one because there's so much we got to talk about. Man, Mateo, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, and I'll give it to you, brother.
Alright, so my name is Mateo Gonzalez. I was born and raised in Loveland, Texas. I train at a Victory Combat Sports Academy. Yeah, boy. And man, I'm set to make my professional debut May 14th, God willing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there you have it. Mateo, he just put it out there. We'll just kind of talk about this real quick. Did say he is going to be making his professional debut. I want to touch a little bit on that here in a little bit, but right now, what I want to talk about outside of training, Mateo, what is it that you do besides training? Because I know you hold down a full-time gig. So tell us what you do, brother.
Alright, so outside the gym, I'm an electrician apprentice, and I'm going on my third year.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to test out for my journeyman's in my fourth year, so I can start making a little extra money.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. What's the company you work for?
I work for D&K Hunt.
DK. Okay.
It's right,
Okay.
pretty much right down the road.
Nice, nice. Um, Man, so okay, tell me a little bit what it's like to hold down an 8 to 5, if not earlier to later, and try to make it for training.
Man, sometimes man it could be kind of hard, man, trying to hold down to seven to four or 7 to 5 because man, you put in them long hours doing manual labor, then you gotta you know I live in Loveland, so I really can't. It's hard for me to drive back down there and get a little bit of rest and come back to Lubbock. 'Cause that's quite a bit of gas you're wasting. So
Right, right.
what I like to do, man, I like to get out of work, grab something to eat, go take like a 30-minute nap at my brother Jesse's house and go straight to the gym, man. Sometimes it can be a little tiring, man, because man your body's just hurting, man. But you know you just gotta go out there and suck it up, man, and just get to
For sure.
business, man.
I hear you. I hear you. So you get very little time to yourself. It's work all day, work all night. And you just mentioned something. You talked about catching a little cat nap at your brother's house. So kind of diving into that portion, man. Your first love is boxing, right?
Man, it is.
Okay, so boxing, and you and your brothers, man, tell me about it. How all you guys kind of got involved in boxing and or the fight game, because I know y'all all. That's kind of how it all started, man. Because
Yeah.
you're the baby, right?
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
You're the baby of the bunch. Okay, so tell me about that, man.
Man, so like, man, boxing's always ran in. I guess my dad's side of the family. My grandpa used to be a Golden Gloves boxer,
Okay.
and then he fought all around Texas, and man, he was really good, and I guess he taught my aunts and my uncles, and of course my dad had a box. So whenever my dad had all of us, we started teaching. We used to have a little red Everlast bag, and like my dad would hang that up. My dad would go do his thing, and I guess he'd let my brothers go and hit the bag and stuff, and like that's where like the love came in from. I was never really too big into it because man, I was a little nerd, man. I just wanted to play video games and just just do my thing.
I got you. I got you.
But like man, I want to say whenever I was about 12 or 13, I got into a fight at our city pool first week of summer.
Okay.
And man, I got beat up pretty bad by a kid that was about a year older than me. I go home, got 2 black eyes, lips all swollen, and my dad comes in. My dad looks at me, he laughs, and walks out the room. And my brothers come in. Oldest brother comes in, he shakes his head and walks out. Second oldest brother comes in, looks at me, he's like, "Dang, dog, what happened to you?" And I'm just like, "I got beat up." And the last person to walk in is Jesse. Jesse comes in, Jesse sits on the bed, and he's like, "Man, what happened?" I tell him what happened. And he's like, "Man, I can't have you going around town ruining our reputation." Because like, man, at the time my brothers were like, man, they were badass, like street fighters and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So Jesse's like, "Man, I can't have you ruining our reputation." He's like, "Tomorrow morning," he's like, man, bright and early, 7 in the morning. We're gonna start boxing. I'm gonna start teaching you how to box. So like this stuff never happens.
He
again.
put your ass to work. Okay.
Man, dog, that whole summer, dog, like first thing in the morning, eat breakfast and boom, go to the garage, man. And Jesse would try to teach me like certain techniques, but like some of that stuff wouldn't click with me, and like Jesse would beat me up for like not listening to him. But like man, eventually that light bulb just clicked, and man, we started just taking off like every single day, just man boxing. And after that, go run, then go to the city pool, maybe swim or something like that, man. But yeah. Jesse took real good care of me whenever it came to boxing, and I owe him a lot.
Yeah. So that's where, man, hearing something like that is like a lot of these old school boxers, man. That sounds like a beginning of something of their life. You know what I mean? And I think that's really neat, because you do have 3 older brothers, and I've had the privilege to train with Jesse too, and all you guys have hands on you, like that's y'all's go-to, and I can sit here and say as a coach, a friend, a training partner, man, y'all pieced me up too many times, man. But there ain't no quitting the dog. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep pushing, but I mean, y'all are amazing boxers, man. So let me ask you this. Coming off of that, why MMA but not boxing?
Man, I don't know, man. MMA just goes way back. Like whenever we were like growing up, we used to go to my uncle's house like every big UFC event and go watch UFC events over there. But like I said earlier, like of course I wasn't really too into it, so I would just go off and do something else while like my brothers and my dad like watching UFC events. But like when I got a little bit older, like I started to enjoy watching the fights, and like everything just started to click. I was like, man, this is something that I think I want to do once I get a little bit older. And like I still remember the first like UFC fight that like I caught with my dad. It was Hoist Gracie versus Chemo. Whenever I think he pulled off Chemo's ponytail and stuff. Whenever he had Chemo's back. And I remember like me and my dad just laughing our asses off at that, man. And I was like, man, how is this little guy beating up these heavyweights? And I was like, man, I want to be just like that guy. And like, man, so like going back. So whenever I hit 14 years old, my 14th birthday, Jesse was working 2 jobs at the time. Jesse was working at McDonald's and Dollar Tree. And Jesse's like, hey man, he's like, what do you want for your birthday? I'll get you anything you want. And I was like, man, Jesse, to be honest, man, I was like, there's only one thing I want, and I want to start training at that MMA gym down the street.
Gotcha.
And Jesse's like, all right, get in the truck. And Jesse was rocking this 1990s Chevy truck. And we get in the truck, we go down to the gym. It was Soul Crushers at the time, and it was downtown in Loveland. And we pull up.
Soul Crusher with Cruz Reyna?
Yes, Cruz Reyna. That was my first coach. And we pull up, we walk in, and you see the racks of like the punching bags and all that. You see the mats, and I was like, man, like just the smell of the gym. I was like, man, I fell in love with it instantly. I was like, dang, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And like Jesse walks up to Cruz, and Cruz is like, hey, what can I help you guys with? And I was like, man, this little Brazilian dude, but I later found out Cruz he was a Hispanic. I was like, man, this little Brazilian
dude. That's funny because I forget you're from Leveland. I trained at Soul Crusher for about a year when Danny Perez met Cruz. I was actually, me and a buddy were sponsoring fighters, and we started a little paintball business together. And I went down there to check out Danny to potentially sponsor him, and that's when I met Cruz. And I was like, man, dude, can I come and mix it up with y'all a little bit?
Yeah.
It's a nice little shop right on the corner.
Yeah.
Man, I remember that little joint, man. And dude, it's funny. I'll show you here in a little bit. I actually have pictures of the joint on my computer of where they started, man.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, dude. I had no idea. Okay, so you said when you were about 14?
Yeah, I just turned 14.
Let's see, how old are you now?
I'm 23.
23, so that was 9 years ago. And, dude, you know what? I very may well have been in the same building as you when you were a kid, dude.
Yeah.
Like, man, not even joking.
You probably were.
We'll have to look at the pictures. Like, no joke. As soon as we're done, I'm gonna pull my flash drive out. I have pictures of people training there. We'll have to look, man.
I can name out all those people that you probably can show me.
Oh man, dude, you probably could. We'll have to check it out, man. So, dude, that'll be cool to look at here in a minute.
Yeah, like anyways, like going back to that story, like we walk in and Cruz is like, "What can I help you guys with?" And Jesse's like, "Man, that's one. If you're right, my little brother trains here." And Cruz is like, "Yeah." He's like, just give me like $50 and I'll start training him. And like, I have my little backpack on. I threw it to the side and pulled out my gloves. And Cruz was like, "All right, bro, get on the bags." He's like, "We're doing this, this, and this." And I was like, "All right." And of course, like my hands they're decent. He's like, "All right, throw out this combo." And pop, pop, pop. I throw it out, and I'm like, and Cruz is like, "Man, that's pretty good." And I was like, "Man, heck yeah." And he was like, we started just working together and like, grew to, start liking each other. Because, man, I was real timid and stuff. Because I was real nervous, man, like new kid coming in. So I was like, man, me and Cruz just clicked, man, and like started teaching me and all that. And then started going just about every day. Trained with Cruz, Sonny, and some big dude that looked like Mark Coleman.
Dude, I loved Sonny, man. Sonny was a cool cat, man. I loved training with that dude. Dude had long arms, long legs,
he
man.
He was a big one, I think 145.
145er, man. Yeah, 145er.
He fought Javier.
Yeah.
I was training at the gym whenever he was getting ready to fight Javier. Like I'd see Sonny on the bike with this gray hoodie on, and man, that was always the coolest stuff, man. Watching all them prepare to fight and all that, especially whenever they fought for like legacy and all that.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, dude, that's so crazy. So you had a few years of boxing with your brothers, and that was basically your transition into MMA. You talking to Jesse, that's what you wanted to do. You got tied in with Cruz Reina at Soul Crusher. So let's kind of bring it to the current. Now, years later, up the road, you've had a lot of time under your belt, a lot of fights under your belt. Now you have what, 9 amateur?
Man, like 12.
12? Okay, man, I'm off on my numbers. My apologies. But so now you're at Victory Combat. Now you're training under John Moore. Coach Moore. Which I've been with you guys, for 4 years now. Really been working with all the fighters for, man, 4 or 5 months with y'all. Pretty hands on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I had to step away, but the love is still there. What is it like now, all these years later, going from that little 14-year-old kid to now at Victory with John Moore? What's it like for you now? What's going on in Mateo's head?
Man, I'm really trying to think about like stuff like that, man. Because like the more I think about it, the more like it starts to hit me. But like, man, going from that 14-year-old kid to the 23-year-old like man that I am right now, like, man, it's been a short, but like, man, it's been an amazing journey. Like meeting John Moore, who trained T.J. Wahlberger, Steve Carl, and like all these great fighters, Tyler Upchurch, man. Like going Rene Rendon, and like seeing Coach John. Like whenever I was a kid, I used to watch TJ and Steve Carl fight like on TV. But little did I know that John Moore would be my head coach. And,
right.
Man, he's like an uncle to me, and man, he's changed my life so much, man. These last couple of years, like I owe him a lot. Like my ground game's improved, my striking's improved, my mindset's improved. Like, and I owe him the world, man.
Yeah.
He's helped me so much.
I can relate to that, and I can respect that because, he's like an OG of the fight game. And his style is so different because a lot of people don't know who he is, and that's how he likes it.
Yep.
He likes it that way. And it makes sense. There's so many things we could say on it, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
I could even say the same. He's like, he's almost like he knows my old man, and having him around and getting to sit down and chop it up with him, and the things we've talked about. I almost feel I should be his age because of how old school my mind thinks.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how good our styles would go together until he asked me to be his assistant, which is something the man's never done in his life. Never done that before. So that was kind of an honor and a privilege. Like you said, he's improved you guys, but not only was he improving you, he was improving me.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, as a whatever you call it, a mentor, sparring partner. I was gaining that knowledge too, and learning to mix it up with you guys.
Yeah.
So you're a hands guy. You're good on your feet. You just said he's helped you improve your jits. So now, with what you said earlier, you're going pro.
Yeah.
So you're going pro. We're shooting for May 14th. If everything, God willing, like you said while we were having dinner, what's that like for you? Is it surreal? Are you still processing it? Or is it just another day in the office, going to work, doing your work, and going home?
Man, it's kind of like another day in the office, but like, man, it's like a dream come true, man. It's something I've been dreaming about since I started, man. Like since I was like 12, 13 years old, man. It's something I've always dreamed about, going pro and fighting on TV, making money, and just, man, fighting the best fighters I can fight in the world, and, man, traveling to different states, different countries. That's always been a goal of mine, and, man, now that everything's about to happen, I can't let this go to waste. I gotta train hard day in and day out, man. So whenever it comes time to fight, I can just go in there, show everyone, show the world what I'm about, and, man, make whoever I fight look as average as I can, man.
Yeah.
You don't get paid for overtime, so, man, go in there and just take the guy out real fast, man, and get another fight a month later, and just keep on keeping on, like Joe Dirt said. Because, man, realistically, we only have about, man, 15 years in this sport, man, before your body starts breaking down. And
yeah.
I want to do as much as I can in these next 15 years. I just want to go out there, work my butt off, win as many fights as I can, God willing, go undefeated, win a world title at bantamweight, and move up to featherweight, and just keep on just moving up, man. Cause
yeah.
I got the skills, I got the will.
For sure.
I just gotta just go out there and kill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's something I can say to all you people watching. This kid here, man. His mindset is solid. For his age, his maturity is beyond his years when it comes to training. The dude gets in there, grinds it out every day. When he comes running in, there were some days he'd come rolling in a little late. Man, he throws his bag down, and it's as soon as he steps onto that mat, it's a completely different guy. He didn't just work, 10 hours doing electrical work, and none of that even existed in his day when he hits the mats. So for that, I respect you for that. And I think you got a super good, bright future ahead of you. And with that said, you're talking about, making it big, making good money off of this. I wanted to scratch a little something that you recently did.
Is it muted right now?
No. It's just my TV.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I have the mic down here. We're solid, man. I have my people watching for me, so they're watching after us. So you recently, I've had the privilege of training with this guy before in the past, but you just finished not too long ago helping Leonard Garcia get ready for what we didn't know would be his last fight for his career. Tell me what that was like. What was it like getting to train with the bad boy? It's like I said, I've been there. Tell me what it was like for you, man.
Man, just growing up and watching Leonard Garcia fight on TV, man, and like getting to hang out with him and spar with him, man, that was something different, man. I remember the first time I saw him, he pulls up to the gym. It was his first. He was getting ready for his first bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah.
And he was a little big, man. I could tell, like, he took like a two year layoff.
Yeah.
So like he was trying to get back into it, and like I remember someone had told me that he was gonna pull up to the gym, so I was like, all right, cool, man, and like show up, go to the restroom, and like walk in, see Leonard in there, and I'm like, oh, what's up, man? And just walk out, and I'm like, damn, that's Leonard Garcia. I was like, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
We started sparring and all that, and like,
yeah, because when that happened, Victory was still at the old gym.
Yep.
Because I remember getting that phone call too. They wanted, I sparred with them that night. You did.
Javier.
Man, Javier showed up for that. Man, we had like 13 people there, man. Because he did a ton of rounds that night, man.
Yeah, I want to say he did about 10 rounds.
Yeah, and so that was fun, So that was your first experience with them, So what was it like going to Plainview because y'all worked out at Extreme.
Yep, at Tommy's gym.
Yeah, Tommy Alcazar's gym. So tell me about it, man. You know, because Dustin LaFon went, you were there, Javier was there, Minajares. So what was it like for you? Not only with Leonard, but those other guys. You know, Dustin being a world class kickboxer.
Experienced kickboxer.
You know, Javier. I mean,
man.
Of course you know Javier, man.
He's a killer.
Little killer, man.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Don't nobody like getting kicked by that dude, man.
That's my dog, man.
Yeah. So tell me about it, brother.
Man, the last experience that I had training with Leonard, like, man, he improved so much, man, in the last 3 years. Like, man, he was in shape this time. Like, he was rocking the 6-pack, looked lean, footwork was on point. Man, his power was, man, unbelievable. And man, like sparring with him that last time, man, he was hard to hit. And man, you know, once Leonard gets a little excited, man, he starts throwing them bombs.
Hands up, yep.
I threw a few of those bombs, and I was like, dang, man. I was like, heck yeah, this dude's in shape, man. He's ready to go out there and put on a show. And man, I was really grateful that I got to spend his last training camp with him, and
yeah,
that was cool. And then training with Dustin LaFon, like that was fun too, man. An experienced kickboxer, real tall, real lanky, man. Powerful kicks, powerful hands, good footwork, and that was fun. And of course Javier's a dog, man.
Yeah, man.
Javier, man, fast hands, good head movement, man, solid pressure.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm man super blessed to have trained with all them guys, man.
Yeah.
Man, all that experience and all that knowledge, man, they're just passing down to the younger generation.
Iron sharpens iron, brother.
Yep,
you know, so
exactly.
You know that's what everybody lives by in this sport. You know, so like you said, you know, I watched Leonard's fight. You know, he was fighting a big dog, man. You know, Joe Elmore was no joke.
Yep.
You know, hard hitter. He knew going into it, it was going to be a hit for a hit, and it was just that.
Yep.
You know, dude, it was a dog fight. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, dude, man, I was sitting there. I think I went live for the last couple rounds because somebody had wrote me like, man, go live, and it was hard to be quiet while I was trying to live for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a dogfight, man, and you know, so it was really neat, and that's something I was thinking about coming into this interview. I was like, man, you know, I want to drop you with that question, you know, because not many people get opportunities like that, you know, and Leonard's really humbled himself through the years, you know, and I think you're right along those lines. You've always been pretty humble, you know, for your age. Like I said, you're beyond your years in age. So you know, I thought that was really cool, man. And then to see him announce his retirement,
man,
I'm like, dude, I really got to hit him with that one, you know, because
he retired on top, man. That's the main goal.
Retired on top, man. You know, that's the way to go.
Number one bare knuckle boxer in the world.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, man. He went out in the mountain.
Yeah, for sure. So you know, just kind of thinking about it all, you know, got pro debut coming up. You know, been at this for a long time. What do you think it'll be like for you when your name's being thrown into the mix with these guys, Adrian Yanez, Jonathan Martinez, you know, all these guys that are getting into UFC? What do you think it's going to be like when your name gets thrown into that pot, man?
Man, I think, man, just coming from a small town, man, that's gonna be real big.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, you can't let none of that go to your head, man, because I'm not there yet. So I gotta just work my way up and just, you know, take every day by day.
Day by day.
And just, man, keep on grinding like no other, man. Because, man, you know, it's gonna be a long road, but you know, I'm gonna take the road less traveled.
Yeah. You know, so tell us just a few things. You know, closing this out. I'm gonna backtrack really far towards the beginning. You were a cross-country runner, right? Mm-hmm. So, man, I'm going to tell y'all right now, this dude runs like 20 miles a day.
Man,
so, tell me about that, man. How often do you run, and how much do you run?
Man, I really haven't been able to run like I've been wanting to. Like, I usually just run on the weekends now, or sometimes during the weekdays, but mainly on the weekends. Let's see, Friday, I like to go out and run like 4.5 miles. Like at a 7:30, maybe it's 6:40 pace.
I just broke a sweat hearing that, bro.
I just broke a sweat
hearing that.
I just grew up doing.
Yeah.
And Saturdays go and do like bleachers or go to the track and do like intervals or something like that, just to like intervals you sprint for like a certain amount of distance and you jog and basically you're increasing your heart rate, slowing it down, and then increasing it some more. That's really good way. That's a really good source of cardio right there. And Sundays, just go out for a little jog, man. Nothing too crazy. But whenever I was running, shoot, man, I'd run at least 4 times a day, 3 times a day.
Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, I just think it's crazy. I think about that because, sparring and rolling with you, man, I go a minute in and I'm like, man, bro, get off me, bro. I'm tired, man. And, you're over here doing like 30 straight minutes of nonstop, and I'm like, Jesus, man, does this gas tank ever empty?
Man,
so but that's a plus, man. That's a plus for you. So I guess we're just gonna kind of end it there. I want to have you back, maybe after your fight. But get you right back on. Let's talk about that. But I'm gonna close it out with this. Guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in today, especially for this young man. This kid has a bright future. I say kid, man, he's a young man. He's a grown man. Bright future ahead of him. Y'all really got to stay tuned and keep your eyes out for this one. Mateo Gonzalez, brother, man. I was telling you before we got on. Hopefully this next couple weeks, I'll be able to get a day or two in where I can just go mix it up with you guys, man. I'm missing it already. I miss you guys over there at the gym. It's been 2 weeks, and I'm going crazy, man. Yeah. So, but I see y'all on there, man. Y'all are grinding every day, getting better every day. I wish the best to you in everything you do. I think you got a great future ahead of you. You're a sharp kid. Man, is there anything you want to leave the audience, the folks here tuning in to you? Anything you want to leave them with?
Man, like I said, making my professional debut, God willing, May 14th. Stay tuned for that. I'm looking to go in there. If need be, if the fight goes, stay standing and knock this dude out. If the fight goes to the ground, I can submit him. But if need be, if I have to go, then in 15 minutes, I can do that without a doubt. I'm ready to just go out there and show everyone in the world what I got and just start it from right here.
There we go.
May 14th.
Yeah. May 14th. So again, thank you everybody who was tuning in. James Phillips, Tito Lopez, thank you for the shares and the follows. We appreciate everybody. Folks, don't forget, whenever I do these are live. These are not pre-recorded. And we do have a chat. If you ever have anything you want to ask, you want to say, type it in, send it to us. We can see it here live, right in front of us. That way, I may give a few minutes towards the end of the interview, where if there's anything you want to ask, my guests, ask them. We can get it on here, and let them answer it. But with that said, J-Man 2K TV again with Mateo Gonzalez here as my guest. Y'all tune in next week. I will have another guest on next week. We appreciate everybody that tuned in. But me and Mateo, we are out of here, and that is a wrap for us today. Y'all have a good